Hey everybody, I'm Invisible Katana, and today I am continuing my year-long celebration of the Back to the Future franchise because it is, of course, 2015. And today I decided I'm going to talk about my favorite mistake of the Back to the Future franchise. And it's not that it takes away from the franchise or anything like that. It's still one of my favorites. Back to the Future Part 2 is still my favorite film out of everything I've ever seen. It's like Back to the Future stuff. Then, it's Star Wars right after that because obviously nerd stuff. But, they're really, like, throughout the entire franchise, I think there are really only two big mistakes. And one is really, as far as us knowing time travel, it's all theory and everything like that. So it hardly counts as a mistake. It's just like we kind of assume what time travel would be like, even though none of us have any real freaking idea. But there is one thing in the series where everyone knows it's kind of like it is an actual mistake of the series. It's like, it's really kind of a plot hole, really, because they established this one thing and then they kind of threw it away, like, even within the same film, and this all happens in the very first movie. And it's really the fact that Marty, when he goes to the past, he interacts with all these different people, and of course when he goes to the present, none of them, like, no one knows or recognizes Marty as Marty aside from Doc. And it's one of the biggest things in the franchise because it's like, of course, you could go on and be like, yeah, it's like, well, it could possibly be the same person and this and that, but you would have to recognize, like, at some point, this guy, your son, looked exactly and acts exactly like this guy that you met in the past. And I always found that kind of funny, and it was something that actually happened in the second movie as well, where it's like, when Biff is standing outside of the house and he sees the DeLorean go up and basically disappear, and it's like a flying DeLorean, and then he sees it as old Biff, it doesn't instantly connect for him. It's like, why does that seem so familiar? And for something where it's like, old age or whatever, it's like, that doesn't happen. When you go from 1985 and seeing like a freaking flying DeLorean, you don't just say like, it seems sort of familiar. And how many DeLoreans are in the future? Like, honestly, I think that's one of the most accurate things. Like, Doc probably has the only DeLorean that you'll ever see. But it's like the biggest mistake as far as I'm concerned throughout the franchise. And like I said, the other stuff, I was initially going to do like my favorite couple of mistakes or whatever, but really it's all like the time travel stuff is like sheer theory. Like, one of the biggest things for that though is, of course, when Biff goes to the past and he changes it, how is it that he's even able to come back to the future to return the DeLorean? Like, that technically should have never happened. And then, that's something you guys can check out. A great thing to check out, I would suggest, is Vsauce 3. I'll put a link to that video where they talk about time travel, and they mention Back to the Future, and how could you not expect to the future? It's like the two big things, which I just saw the last Flash episode, so they kind of mentioned like the two big time travel series. It's like, here's Back to the Future and here's Terminator, as far as movies go, at least. I mean, if you go series wise, you obviously have to go Doctor Who. Like, beyond anything else, it's like, if you go series wise, it's of course Doctor Who. But as far as the movies go, it's like your two big time travel ones is Back to the Future and Terminator. So, it was one of those big things where it's like, Doc realizes that Marty is Marty because he knew Marty, I guess, and stuff like that. But when they establish the fact that he does know Marty and they continue to know each other, it's weird that they do have that break in continuity with all the other characters. Like, cause, obviously his parents more than anyone else. And then, like I said, it does carry on into the second film where this stuff does happen, and everyone, like, Biff just forgets. Like, you don't forget a flying car. It's like he didn't think he saw it. It was just like, he saw it and was just like, what the hell was that? And he saw a flying DeLorean. And I guess you could argue that, he kind of threw it off as like, I was just seeing things, but not really. Like, you knew where you were, you knew who was there and stuff like that, and it's just like, it's not something that would really leave your mind. You wouldn't think you just went nuts and saw a flying DeLorean or anything like that. So I would consider that the biggest mistake of the franchise. This isn't going to be like a super convoluted video about, all the time travel stuff and, arguing this and that and how he could have forgotten and all this extra stuff. But I did want to have a video to continue like the year-long celebration. And like I said, I was going to do a longer video where it talked about like my favorite couple of mistakes. But then I realized it's not really a mistake to go with their own theory of, you know, time travel. And it's like I said, I'll put a link to the Vsauce 3 video that explains all the different forms where it's like, if you alter time, the current timeline goes at the same pace as the new timeline, or it's like a little bit slower, so the newer timeline has to actually catch up. And that's why like Marty and Doc didn't get erased completely to begin with, and that's why they were able to get back to the DeLorean and travel around themselves, because they kind of jumped over the new timeline, kind of wiping out the old timeline. They jumped through that, you know, sort of point. So, you know, there's all sorts of theories and stuff like that to explain how they did the time travel and how they were able to exist and all this other stuff. But I just wanted to kind of do that as my big thing. Like I said, it doesn't take away from the film at all to me. It's always one of the things that I find actually really funny, because it's like, it's so weird that they have, you know, such an experience with Marty, just like Doc does, but, you know, they don't remember his character. Like Strickland doesn't remember him, although that was like, you know, 2 seconds long, and he just calls everyone a slacker. He probably doesn't remember anybody. I mean, heck, even in the alternate timeline, he's like, I don't know, are you a slacker? You look like a slacker. So that's pretty much all he cares about. It's like, everyone's a slacker, and that's pretty much all there is to it. But, you know, I just wanted to talk about that because it is one of my favorite things. It's really my favorite, what I would consider a mistake through the franchise, but it never takes away from it. Every time I watch it, it pops into my mind, and that's why it became my favorite. Because another one of the big ones that I love to talk about is the multiple DeLorean thing, where it's like, okay, we have the initial DeLorean, you know, from the first film. Doc made the DeLorean, he goes back in time and this and that, and then we have the second DeLorean when he has it, you know, converted, which is just the first DeLorean upgraded into like the hover version and stuff like that, and that gets zapped into the past, into 1885. And then he has it stored away, so there are always 2 DeLoreans. And that's another one of my favorite things to always discuss, where it's like, you know, once again, it's all time travel stuff, because it's like, well, if he had that, and, you know, he had the DeLorean and it was sent back in time, and then he stored it, there were always 2 DeLoreans. And, you know, even if Marty got stuck in the past or something like that, there was technically another DeLorean there. But if he got stuck in the past, would it have been there? Or, you know, if Doc didn't get struck by lightning and they had to redo that same scene and Marty was able to stop him, you know, time travel, all the extra time travel stuff. So it's just like, and I think I'm sure there are tons of videos on YouTube already about that, like how many DeLoreans exist. I'm pretty sure I've seen that before, but I just wanted to do this little well, it's much longer than I thought it was going to be, but I just wanted to do this little video. I would definitely want to know, you know, what's your favorite mistake or plot hole or whatever in Back to the Future, where it's like, you feel like if it was written, you know, if you watched it and you were able to change it, what would you change? Like, would you change the fact that Marty's parents do recognize him? Would you change, you know, like in the second film, where Biff does realize instantly that it's, you know, the DeLorean and stuff like that? Or, you know, maybe you would change basically all of 2, because, you know, like I said, one of the big things is, and this is a deleted scene, so you can kind of take that as you will, but the scene where Biff returns to the future and then disappears, you know, that's a deleted scene, technically. So it's one of those things where it's like, you can kind of count it in there because they did write it, and, you know, they didn't necessarily take it out because they didn't think it fit. They probably took it out because of just runtime and stuff like that. So you can take that, you know, as you wish, because if he disappeared and he returned to the future, and obviously he jumped over that little time bubble where the past did erase the current present, maybe it's because it was still him. Maybe because Marty and Doc obviously weren't just completely changed as human beings. Their lives may have gone different paths, but, you know, their lives weren't affected nearly as much as Biff's was. Because, you know, when you go from an average person, like growing up a normal life, and then you go from being considered like the luckiest man on earth or whatever it was they called him, and you can win every single bet on earth, that kind of changes a lot about your entire lifestyle. So maybe that's another theory and stuff like that. But like I said, I want to know what your favorite mistake is of Back to the Future, or plot hole, or you loophole that they just threw in there that you always felt was a little weird for you to get through, even though you obviously still love the film. So please put those down in the comments below. Definitely check out my other celebration videos. There's really only one other one so far, and that was my unboxing videos because I bought two die-cast metal DeLoreans because I had the one from the first movie. So I had to get the second and third one to complete my set. So check that video out. I'll, of course, put a link in the description for that. I will be getting to doing the reviews for the actual movies themselves. I'm trying to save it and not do them all at once and just, just combine them all together. So I want to spread those out and give it some time where it's like I haven't seen the movies in a while, and then I watch them one at a time, like once a month maybe or something like that. And I'm also going to be reviewing the Blu-ray 25th anniversary collection itself, like not the movies, but just the collection and what it actually adds to the films, like extra deleted scenes or whatever other special features they might add to that. So look forward to those. Those will obviously be coming out sometime next month, and typically I'm probably going to do like one video a month for this celebration, but if I have like a bunch of other ideas, I'll be doing that. If I'm able to get the Back to the Future game, honestly I'm waiting for it to kind of go on sale because I know Steam is going to have it on sale at some point, so I'm kind of waiting for that. It'll probably happen around the summertime, and I'll probably do that, and I'm going to do a full Let's Play of that game because I've been waiting to play that forever. So look forward to some of those videos. If you have any suggestions on, any celebration, Back to the Future celebration type things you'd like to see, definitely let me know, and if I can do it, I will without a doubt do those as well. So please comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.